Hey everybody, welcome back. I just wanted to do a quick video here on my experience vacationing in Las Vegas last weekend. Memorial Day weekend was there for about 4 days from last Friday until the day after Memorial Day, June 1st. June 1st was the day that all the restrictions in Vegas were supposed to be lifted, so didn't really get to experience. We left on that same day, last Tuesday, June 1st, so didn't really get to experience the lifting of the restrictions that day. But I'm not sure any of you been in Vegas for the past year, saw what it was like, or you're planning to go soon. But all I can speak about is what I experienced when I was up there. It was almost 100%. I don't know if it was just because it was Memorial Day weekend, but it was pretty busy up there. The first day I went up there, it seemed like it was kind of empty, but as the weekend went on, it got more and more busy, and it did seem like after Memorial Day, that Tuesday, the parking lot in our timeshare was pretty empty. So it seemed like a lot of people had gone home either Monday evening or Tuesday morning. About 30% of the people that I came into contact with there, it seemed like most people were without masks. About 30% of the people were still wearing them, and the only requirement was my wife's friend and our kids went into a store. It was really a small store, really cluttered. So I don't know if it was just because you couldn't really fit like that many people in there. They actually required them to have I didn't go in. I stayed outside. I wasn't going to mask it up, but they were requiring my wife's friend and my daughter and her son to have masks on. While my mother-in-law, they were requiring them to have masks on while they were in there. I don't know if it was just because it was such a small store, really cluttered, not much room to mosey around, but that was the only mask restriction that I saw. I went to see Carrot Top at the Luxor, and the new theater that he's in holds about 2,000 people, and they did have it somewhat socially distanced. They only allowed 500 people in, so it was only about like a quarter full. It was pretty empty. Even though there were still 500 people in there, it seemed crowded, but not as crowded as if there were 2,000 in there. And they didn't let everybody out. I mean, obviously not everybody came in at the same time, but they didn't let everybody walk out at once. They tried to social distance it, so they only dismissed certain rows at a time. And Carrot Top did a funny show. I've seen him many times, never gets old. But yeah, he did say, and there was a lot of talk about COVID over the past year, and he did say that that was the biggest crowd that he had seen in the past year and a half, whatever, since this whole thing started. But yeah, I mean, restaurants didn't really have any. I guess nightclubs were. I'm not sure about all of them, but the ones we saw in the log, because Luxor has nightclubs, and they were still closed in the Luxor. I'm not sure about anywhere else, but yeah, all the restaurants were. It seemed like some of the restaurants had somewhat social distancing. Maybe every other table they weren't able to get as a lot of long waits and buffets too. Like they weren't able to get as many people in as they normally would because they had certain tables closed to try to space people out a little. But most of them were 100% open. That was just my experience. So yeah, let me know what you think about Vegas. If you've been there recently, or if you are going to head there soon, you have to see what it's like with now that all the restrictions are lifted. So it was pretty fun, safe trip. Had a little adventure on my way home. Was a few hours away from home, and there was like a semi that stood in one spot for like 2 hours. Would have turned my car off, except it was over 100 degrees, so I had to have the air on. There was a guy in front of me that was turning his car off periodically, and then just when he got too hot, he was turning it back on. I was thinking about turning my car off, and I was like, oh, then I wouldn't have any air. But yeah, there was a semi that was overturned. It looked like it caught on fire, but my wife and I and my daughter, we sat in the same spot for 2 hours, didn't even move, and never. I've had a lot of traffic backups, but nothing ever like that in my lifetime, so that was pretty interesting in my 42 years of life. Oh yeah, it was my birthday. May 29th was my we went up there for my birthday weekend, turned 42 29th of May. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Talk to you all soon. Comment, like, share, subscribe. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye.